Alright, what's going on, boys? We got a trade recap today for Wednesday, May 13th. Took a loss this morning on NQ right here. You can see, so unfortunate, but we're going to go over what I saw, what I was looking for coming into the market today, and why I ended up taking this and what I could have done better. So, lots to go over. As always, coming into the morning, daily bias was bullish by default towards, or we had data highs, 1 hour buy side, and all-time highs above. Price was booking it for all-time highs before PPI news data came out pre-market. You can see overnight we started to make our way up, displacing higher, going to attack all-time highs. PPI news data comes out here, we then dump and start to sell off. So if we run through the bearish 15-minute gap, I'm good for longs. This is what we looked like pre-market. We had this 15-minute bearish gap from the PPI news data. So if we run through this 15-minute gap, I would be willing to target potentially data highs, this buy side up here, and then all-time highs that were even higher. However, if price displaces lower past the bullish 4-hour gaps, then there's a good target at the 1-hour sell side down below, because we had these 4-hour gaps right here that we were respecting. But if what I was trying to say is if we start to run through these 4-hour gaps, then there's a prominent swing low down here that we could potentially target. That was what we looked like. Those were my thoughts coming into the morning. And market opens here, and we get the second scenario, which was shorts, because we had started to dump and displace lower. Market opens actually right here. First 15-minute candle, we come down, wick out the internal low. You can see the internal low that we had after respecting this 15-minute gap. For me, for shorts, I told myself, okay, we need to sufficiently displace past this internal low if I'm going to take a short this morning. So we come down, get rejection higher after sweeping the internal low, and then we get the displacement with this 5-minute candle down past the internal low. Zooming into the 1-minute chart, we can see the 1 minute is the displacement is incredibly obvious on the 1-minute time frame. And so coming down all the way down here into the range, my thought process was we're going to go take the low. So what do? Place a limit order for a 1.2 RR stop loss above all these gaps up here. And that was a trade that got filled here, chopped around for quite a bit, for about 30 minutes, and then ended up getting stopped out. But why did this actually fail? Well, there's two main reasons. Actually, probably three. The first thing is there was an SMT. You can see I have it marked out. There's an SMT at this low with ES. ES had already come down and taken this exact same hourly low, and it had actually swept it out already before I even entered this trade. So there's scenarios in which there will be an SMT and I will still take a trade. This is just not one of those scenarios where I should still be aggressive after putting in the SMT, because we are at all-time highs, and generally we are extremely bullish here. And we're also reacting out of a daily gap. I just had deleted it because the charts got really messy. Anyways, reacting out of this daily gap. The target is all-time highs, high time frame wise. We're getting a bit of a sell-off and a retrace. What is this in reality? Like, high time frames are bullish. You can think of this as your market maker buy model. In reality, what is this? This is just manipulation before we go and continue the draw and liquidity higher towards all-time highs. So you can see the clear manipulation. ES sweeps the low, and then NQ forms an SMT at this low. So with the higher time frames being bullish still, like at all-time highs, if there's an SMT at a low and I'm trying to short at all-time highs, gotta be incredibly cautious with that, and probably shouldn't take the trade after that point in time. Then zooming in, you can see the, so ES took the low when NQ was still up here. So there was an SMT and I saw it and I kind of disregarded it because after the SMT was put in, NQ remained bearish and continued to dump. So that's kind of why I did end up disregarding it. But it's like, okay, if there's an SMT, I'm still open to potentially taking a trade, but I just probably cannot place a limit order in this scenario, especially because, yes, this 5-minute candle in a way does kind of confirm lower, but we do have this rejection wick rejecting from the lows higher because the first 4 minutes of this candle were incredibly bearish, and then this pump up higher is the last 1 minute of that 5-minute candle. In my eyes, I saw it as, okay, we're just coming back up to retrace towards these gaps before continuing lower. But like I said, we have that SMT and we are at all-time highs. So is it really smart to place a limit order in this scenario? No, not really. I only place limit orders, and you should really only place limit orders like this when everything else is pretty much perfectly aligned and when you should be more aggressive with an entry, right? Is it really smart to be this aggressive with an entry, shorting the market at all-time highs with an SMT at the lows? No, not really. So like in all reality, if I wanted to take a trade here, it should have been waiting for the retrace and then waiting for a reaction out of these gaps. It's easy to say in hindsight because at this point in time, you truly feel like we're going to go take the draw on liquidity right this second, and you're just kind of praying and hoping for a retrace, and we eventually do get that retrace. But that's why this trade failed. So that's about all I got. A lot to journal, a lot to look over and review from this trading day. And then after that happens, after we put in the SMT at the lows, we just continue to pump higher towards the pre-existing high time frame draw, which is obviously all-time highs because of the current market conditions that we are in. So took back-to-back losses. Like I said, was risking 1/3 of the drawdown on this account. So back-to-back losses. I haven't taken back-to-back losses. Looked back at my trading journal since February, and they weren't even back-to-back days. So this is a little slice of humble pie, as I would like to say. Can't recall the last time I lost back-to-back days like this, but it is what it is, and all I can do is journal it, move on, keep my head on straight, lock myself out, and continue to follow my rules. And I know on a long enough time horizon, probabilities will end up working out in my favor. So that's trade recap. Never fun to lose, but it's a part of trading, and this is the reality. This is the reality of it, right? This stuff happens, and you just have to be able to take it and move on and let it improve you in the future. So still have one more full trade left on the buffer. There's a reason I gave myself 3 losing trade opportunities in a row. So I'm going to try not to focus on the numbers up here and just solely focus on executing the next time we get good opportunity. Whenever that is, whenever good opportunity is presented to me, just going to focus on executing then, and whatever happens, happens. So let me know if you guys took a trade or not. That's the market recap for me. As you can tell, mood is a little down, but just got to keep a positive mindset about it. So that's the trade recap. Appreciate you watching, and I will see y'all tomorrow in tomorrow's recap. Peace.